Where in the world can you go anymore to get honest news? At a time when the new media should be taking over, YouTube channels with millions of subscribers seem to be joining forces with legacy media corporations at the risk of destroying their audience. Mark Rober has gone from glitter pranks to propaganda. But it's not just limited to video. On X, claims of conservatives being bought off by Big Soda is the rage of the day. Fizz, you might say. So what in the world is going on with supposed truth-tellers caving for a little cold, hard cash? Today, we have the sordid story of Mark Hamill, Mark Rober, and the robber barons of the carbonation world.
But did detect the kid.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pro Channel. We have another video of excellence on the way for you today, and we're going to be covering some topics that are unusual, but we're happy to go there because this has a major impact on the new media. And of course, the new media is you. It's the people on X, it's the people on YouTube, Rumble, and beyond. And we're ready to talk about what's going on as corporations try to infiltrate and take over those efforts, those voices, and to some degree, largely successfully. It's a cautionary tale for content creators out there who want to, well, they want to feel like they're a big star and get that special plaque that says, I did business with a corporation. Worry, though, if they come to you. Folks, click the like button, and here we go. Out of that Park Place, Mark Hamill gleefully celebrates the largest by far electric car manufacturer takedown on Blue Sky. Well, that's good, though, isn't it, though? I mean, as you read the headline, at least it's on Blue Sky where nobody will read anything about it because nobody's there anymore. By the way, I think this is going to fizzle. It's out of that Park Place by Marvin Montanaro, but I think this whole effort against the vehicles, the Elon mobiles, I think it's going to fail. And I think they're going to pull this back real fast. And the reason I think that is simply because this is so negatively perceived in the public. It's such a terrible strategy. People hate it. When you destroy things. I mean, it just turns the public against you. So I think this is going to fail and fizzle rather quickly. It says, first Jimmy Kimmel, now Mark Hamill. Hollywood elites seem intent on celebrating the targeting of, well, those types of vehicles. And if you wonder why I'm not saying big T, little Tesla, because built into the algorithms currently is a check, I believe, to see if that word is in a video. And then there is a very high level of scrutiny and perhaps preventing it from going viral because it's too hard to check all of these videos, and perhaps some of them would be of the nature of encouraging the sorts of negativity that we're seeing. So I think it's a safety thing, but that's why I'm not saying the word. Private property owned by American citizens without so much as a whisper of responsibility in their ongoing quest to hurt Mr. Musk. This week, Mark Hamill took to his Blue Sky account to applaud what he calls the big T little Tesla takedown, gleefully sharing news of the company's stock price drop. So, and there you go, folks. That's the story. Read about it, though. It's on the VIP section of thatparkplace.com. You want to be there. And guess what? This is not the only thing happening right now in terms of a mass effort by various personalities and influencers to get you to do something which may or may not be good for you, right? With Mark Hamill and this whole big T little Tesla takedown, we all know that's a horrible thing. Don't do that. But Dr. Simon Goddick has this out of X. He says, new. Turns out Big Soda is paying influencers $1,000 a pop to attack a proposed ban on using SNAP, that's food stamps, for junk food. And says that Ian Miles Chung is one of them, talking about shilling soda, all of that. Now, folks, I don't know if this is true or not. Okay, I don't know if people are being paid $1,000 to post something in support of food stamps being used to sell soda. I have no way of knowing that, but I can tell you that if we go back, you can see that this is everywhere, right? Brick Suit has the same story. Shipwreck has the story, etc. So this is a big deal. The problem as these corporations try to take over the new media and its messaging, whether individuals are actually being pulled into this, who it is, who it's not, I'm not getting into that, right? I'm not going to tell you which influencers received money and which ones didn't. I don't know. But I can tell you that this narrative effort is happening on X and in other places because these companies now know that the place to be is going to be the new media. It's going to be on podcasts. It's going to be on X posts. It's going to be on YouTube videos. It's not in the legacy media. They can't influence people through the legacy media anymore. So the effort is going to be to influence people in new ways. That's why you've got Mark Hamill saying what he's saying about Big T, Little Esla. That's why you've got these supposed influencers posting about soda. Again, I'm not naming names, not going to try to. And it might be, by the way, why you've got people like Mark Rober acting insane. Take a look at this, folks. This was the video that really has damaged his channel because it's now put him and Disney perhaps in a situation where they could be sued by Big T, Little Esla, by the richest man in the world for a lot of money. Here is Mark Rober going through security at Disneyland in the exact same video that I'm going to show you what he does next. And I think you're going to be highly offended by this because I am. I think it's grotesque. But as you watch this, pay attention to, do you believe that Mark Rober actually snuck through security with all of these camera angles of people videoing this? Because I don't. I think, and I'm allowed to think this, that Disney may have likely known what Rober was up to, known what video he was doing. They knew possibly that it put them into a positive light. And remember, it's in the same video, and they may have coordinated for him to go through security and all this. Here we go. It's an act, I believe. We'll play it.
We'll just wait till your eye gets fully screened in case of item that's
And even though this moment of truth was terrifying, I knew I just needed to play it cool. Like that.
Excuse me, can you not record the...
And the security was, in fact, extremely tight. But our alibi was tighter.
All right, we're in. One down, two to go.
Once inside, I immediately made my way to a bathroom to properly suit up. Now I just had to make it all the way over to Space Mountain without arousing the suspicion of any of the park security, which is a lot harder than you might think because it's a well-kept secret. Disney employs a bunch of security officers dressed up in plain clothes.
Now, how would he know who these people are in terms of security? And I'm not sure that he does, but that's how the video opens, right? That is the way that we start. And then somehow the video that has Disneyland as the first half of it and says, "Can you fool a self-driving car?" gets to this. Remember, the Disneyland stuff's the first half of it, and then they go on the attack towards Big T, Little Esla. Here's what many find quite grotesque, and we'll explain why in just a moment. Here we go.
This is a terrible feeling driving straight at a kid, but this is for science. All right, we are up to speed. And with just simple cameras, the Tesla was speeding fast. Oh no. But did detect the kid. Oh,
Now, he just used his vehicle to drive through a mannequin in the shape of a child. And of course, that's very incendiary and sensational, and will get views. But there's one thing you should note as he drives through the child. Remember, this video is supposed to be about.
That's all right. We are up to speed. And with just simple cameras, the Tesla was speeding fast. Oh no. But did detect
here. Folks, on the left side of that screen, you can see that the Tesla that he is driving detects a child in red. It's not actually driving itself. He's driving it. And in the video, he never has the vehicle ever drive itself truly. He puts it on cruise control. So he actually drives through. And the reason you can see this is because on the left side of the screen, if he were using cruise control or full self-driving, there would be a color in front of the car on the screen. There's an indicator to show that it's not. And so all of this was nonsense. He got caught in this scam, essentially, and he's been caught even more. Take a look at this. It's by Kyle Paul. It says, taking a cue from Mark Rober's Big T, Little Esla wall crash, I couldn't resist diving into the action myself. I set up an experiment to recreate the crash and test if I'd get the same outcome. Check out the video to see how it all unfolds. And guess what they found, folks? They found that every single time, essentially, with the current models, that the vehicle stopped. In other words, the whole thing by Rober was a complete and utter scam. Now, if we go to the top stories, you'll see that the way this is being covered is through interesting headlines like YouTuber recreates Mark Rober's fake wall test. Is that really the story, or is it that a YouTuber is involved in a huge scam, perhaps? The Verge says people keep putting fake walls in front of Big T, Little Eslas. Inside EV says another YouTuber attempted to fool FSD with a fake wall. The headlines don't say what's really going on. Let's take a look at this. It's out of Car Scoops by Stephen Rivers. It says, it seems that not only are the more advanced semi-autonomous system and better than autopilot, but some FSDs are more equal than others. Is that really the story yet? Let's read it and see what it says. It says, nevertheless, when Rober's video highlighted Big T Little Esla's failure to detect a wall that looked like a real road, fans of the brand came out with a pitchfork, so to speak. To their credit, Rober's test didn't use FSD, but rather autopilot. And by the way, autopilot never ran through the wall. Mark Rober did, and that was clearly evident as well. That's where Kyle Paul comes into play. He decided to rerun the same test, which Rober probably didn't anticipate because it takes a lot to make a fake wall that looks exactly like the background. He decided to rerun the same test with the same general parameters, but this time using FSD rather than autopilot. Again, autopilot/cruise control never ran through the wall either. He printed out his own wall that looked just like the real road it sat on and drove his Y up to it multiple times. In every test, the Big T Little Esla failed to see the wall until he was literally inches away from it. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yes. Failed to see the wall until it was literally inches away from it, but it didn't go through the wall, car scoops. That said, Paul then switched things up by bringing in a Cybertruck to run the same test. Interestingly, it passed the test with flying colors by stopping on its very own every time it began to approach the wall. Now, it goes on to talk about the 2022 Y versus the Cybertruck, etc. Yada, yada, yada. Bottom line, they didn't go through the wall, okay? And, what is this video about? Well, folks, I'm here to tell you. There is an effort underway to control what people think, and there's been an effort underway for a long time. Whether it's Mark Hamill and these crazy, wacky Hollywood celebrities making claims that are bogus and bizarre, or whether it's YouTubers or influencers or whatever, trying to get you to change your purchase patterns and your transactional events based on what they say, whether it's right or wrong, the news you need to know is that some huge influencers, YouTube accounts, celebrities, etc., they are putting everything at risk right now. And companies like Disney, by the way, if they were involved in that original video where, by the way, Elon Musk can pull that data off of that vehicle and find out what really happened, they're getting into a position where they're risking too much, I think. And they're doing it perhaps at the behest of political interests aligned with corporations. And this is going to be very fascinating to watch, right? The whole soda thing, I think it'll be over rather quickly as well. Same thing with the Big T Little Esla efforts to harm that company. I think that's going to wrap up pretty quickly because it's perceived so poorly. The problem for these corporations is, yes, you can apparently convince these content creators to do your bidding. Whether Disney did that with Mark Rober, I don't know. Whether Big Soda's doing that with some of these personalities, I don't know. I don't know, folks. But the risk is so high that on both sides, so on the corporation, there is the strong possibility that these content creators don't know what they're doing in the realm of propaganda the way that your professionals do. Well, are you going to send them a professional to help them propagandize at the level that legacy media did? Probably not, because that gets you too close, right? And so then there's a chance that they screw this up royally, such as the Mark Rober situation. The second threat to all of this is, what if it gets out there? Because, well, the new media is not filled completely with people who are on your side. And so they might be leaky. You might even approach someone on the new media side who doesn't like what you're asking them to do and will leak out the information, and then it goes viral, right? Okay, so that's the problem with the soda. Guess what? If carbonation companies want to partner with personalities and have them put out positive statements about soda and food stamps and all of that, okay, so be it. But the problem is that if word gets out that it's artificial, that it's as synthetic as the ingredients in your soda, then the absolute opposite effect takes place, which is now you not only influence people into a positive direction for whatever the position is that you wish to hold, but you also put whatever the negativity was towards you into an amplified light now. You have made the opposition much more vociferous, and they now have the ammo to defeat you because they know that you are paying shills. And what have we been complaining about legacy media for so long about, folks? That the whole thing's rigged, top to bottom. The New York Times bestseller list, it's a bunch of bogus nonsense. The previews for movies. The reviews are often completely fake and bogus. It's shieldtastic. And what do we want to shield the new media from? This nonsense. And we're going to have to pay close attention to it. That's why we must call out in the infancy of the new media. We must call out these channels like Mark Rober and perhaps ties with Disney. We must call out those who are on either side of the fence taking money to essentially become lobbyists online for whatever cause, whether it's soda or beyond. We have to call this out when it comes to the new media because we're trying to protect something in its growth stage, right? We're trying to ensure that this is the paradigm shift we wish for it to be. We don't want to go back to legacy media. Why do we not want to go back to legacy media? Because of corruption. Why do we want new media to take hold? Because it seems that there are better safeguards for figuring out the truth within the new media. And by the way, perhaps the fact that we can expose what happened in the Mark Rober video, as well as whatever's going on with the soda thing, perhaps that's an indication. Perhaps that's an indication that the new media is better. There's greater scrutiny. The skepticism is warranted, and you're able to get the information out there when you find out that perhaps this stuff is synthetically and corporately made. All right, folks, that is the video for the day. More coming your way, though. We have excellent content, and tonight we are going to do a special pro show that we had not anticipated doing, but we are hearing that the final tally for Snow White box office numbers for the weekend, which will come in this afternoon, that they're actually going to be less impressive than Disney had been hoping for even as recently as 12 hours ago. So we are waiting for those numbers to come in. We are going to do a live show, 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday evening. That is March 24th. Today, if you're watching this video at the time of release, where we're going to talk about those Snow White numbers as we get them. Don't miss that vid. You want to be there live as it happens. All right, folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, click that like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Oh, no. Lauren's gonna be sad again. He's texted me last night about how bad the Odyssey's gonna be. That guy needs a pick-me-up.
Ah, Lauren's feeling down in the dumps again, huh? Sounds like he's feeling forlorn. Nice setup, Floral.
Wilton, don't you have a bridge to haunt or something? Leave Lauren alone. He's not even here to deal with your nonsense.
Well, 'cause he's all alone. There's no one there beside him. I bet he's just lamenting about his boring life. You know, he probably needs WDW Pro to give him some good news. Like that Jonas was fired.
You're a pest, you know that? Lauren's fine. He's probably just, like, nervous or something. He's not sulking or anything.
Sulking? Oh, actually, he's probably just languishing. Picture it. Lorne staring at the movie screen, lamenting that he has to be there. And then the film ends, and like a Christmas ornament that fell off a tree, he's shattered.
You're weird.
You know, I should troll the WDW Pro comments that Lauren's so down his... Wait a minute. Lauren's so down, he's practically Lawrenscape art.
Yeah, and I'd be thrilled if you'd leave and do that. For a few hours. Actually, it'll help Pro in the algorithm by you leaving comments, or noise, or whatever, on all of Pro's videos.
Noise? I am a maestro of mirth. Lauren's my new canvas. Like a mom folding laundry. Oh, that one sucked.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go check out the next TPP article and get launched into the stratosphere of information. Nobody wants to be lonely. Everybody hurts sometimes.